They said the word. They actually said the word. They actually said gaming. Apple talked about gaming. So what does this mean? Well, let's check it out. Hey, Magister Wilbur here. I was actually about to make a video about why Apple hates gamers and hates the gaming community. I was doing research. I was building it up because the first time I played Assassin's Creed was on an old Mac. I learned off of Mac. I played Sim Town way back in the day on an iMac. So what happened there? And I was diving into it, and I have three primary Macs. One is a 2009 MacBook, has Intel Duke Core, and it runs programs that you can't find anywhere else. They are still the best programs, and if I ever got back into teaching, I want that gradebook program. I don't care what the schools like to use, but hey, best programs. And then I have two MacBook Pros. One is a 2012, which was the last fully upgradable one, and with a nice keyboard, and it works somewhat great. It has some driver issues with the GPU, and then I have a 2015, which I primarily do my editing on, but they all work great, and they're Intel Macs, and I could load up Windows on them, and I could play games, but I always ask the question, why couldn't I just play natively? What's going on? I have, on the 2015 one, the one game I have is Sims 4. I don't like playing Sims that well. I don't get it. Just don't understand. But I bought it a long time ago. Why not try to play it? And I barely get through anything. So I was going to do the video on why Apple hates gaming, but they said gaming. They actually said gaming. So what I'm looking at personally is first the Mac Pro. I have been wondering why they haven't switched to, the M series chips. It's going to have an M2 Ultra in it, which is awesome because of, all the RAM that you can have, all the GPU cores, all the CPU cores. It runs SLI, so it should be better at processing. You have 6 PCIe lanes, PCIe connectors. Lanes is a little different. And you can stick in your streaming card, you can stick in another GPU, you can have all this functionality. And I'm actually pretty excited about that. I wish I could afford it. It's what, $6,000, $7,000? Yeah, I don't have that money. Sorry. I would love to have it, but hey. And this also means to me that eventually the lower price spec ones will get it. So, and you know me, I like to buy things used. So cool. So I cannot wait for developers to get that in their hands and start building off of technology that Apple is providing. And at this point, I would like to say I'm not an Apple shill. I really am not. My primary PC behind me is an old Dell Optiplex. I use Android personally on my Samsung phone and my backup phone. I'm not really into iOS, and that's kind of why I'm not doing a big WWDC review. Is because when you're talking about iOS, I just did not care. So I'm excited for developers to get into the Mac ecosystem. I know it's throughout entertainment, and they actually brought one game out, which is a big problem. It was clear, and it's sad that they don't have any games. They're running into the same problems Windows had with ARM, and it's developers. They need the developers to make the games, and they do have, the GameKit engine and allow it to port over. I hope developers do that. I want more competition in the space. I know Apple does not have the greatest track record in the technology, industry, especially with the right to repair, all the shady things they do with, serializing chips and all this stuff. But it's another big player, and Apple, Google, they all have to kind of get into it. At this point, I don't see a smaller company doing it without being bought up. So, yeah, I'm kind of happy about this, that they are taking it somewhat seriously about what, gamers actually want. But it was very focused on professionals and people doing what I'm doing right now. You know, the video editing, the art creation, graphic design. And I kind of want to see that go back to gaming, just another option, because I don't actually want all these devices. It's just some devices are better for something than others. And like I use Canva for my thumbnails. A lot of people do, and it's just better on the Mac. Final Cut Pro is a lot easier than DaVinci Resolve over here on the Dell Optiplex. It's just better, and I kind of just, it'd be nice if I just had a simple setup. But that's the Mac Pro, and I'm really hoping, you know, that's being taken on by developers. Now, the big thing that everyone's talking about is the Vision Pro. Apple's entry level for $3,500 to the augmented reality. And I'm going to say this personally, I've always thought it's just like a neat trick. I had the Samsung VR way back in the day. I had the Google Cardboard, which was awesome. I used them in my classes. It did enhance it. But I have not been really into virtual reality games. Like, I just don't see the point of the cost for games I wouldn't play anyway. And it hasn't, to me, really been developed. But here, Apple's doing it. And Apple is an industry leader, and people follow after Apple. And they have a sweet piece of technology. And if it does what it says it does, clearly not in California at WWDC this week. If it really does what it does, it looks cool, but it's primarily built for productivity. And to be honest, that's not what VR headsets have been used as, augmented reality headsets. I'm going to use that interchangeably. Augmented reality means that you have a virtual world on top of the actual world, which they show there. But when it becomes all-encompassing and you're enclosed, that becomes virtual reality, which, again, this can do too. So it's both. It hasn't been used for, you know, professional reasons for a while. I know Meta has tried and failed horribly. I would say it's pretty horribly. I don't see a lot of people, you know, my friends, family in the world really using the Quest for that. I see Beat Saber, and that's about it. Well, again, Apple's making this push, and they're putting in the technology, and it's going to be interesting to see. And I do have some concerns with it. First is what I said before, games. There appears to be no real games for it. I know that some companies are trying to port over quickly, but with this type of announcement, you think that Apple would have been involved, already having a bunch of developers ready with games, ready to go as soon as you're able to buy it. And yes, I know, you can't buy it yet, but you think it would be ready. Second is everything they shown, like the movies, the web apps, it all seemed like just a lonely person. Especially the movies one. Like, who wants to watch a movie alone? Like, I don't. Sometimes I review movies, and it's kind of boring and stinks. It really does. It's not the same as going to the movie theater and getting that experience. Don't know what to say. Don't know what to say about that other than it just seems, I don't know. Everyone on Twitter was saying dystopian, Ready Player One. It does feel that way. It really does feel that way, that you're closing yourself off from the rest of society. And I don't know. And the next issue is the price. I know I'm just going through it, but price $3,500. I don't see the typical gamer buying just a VR set for $3,500 unless it has multi-purpose that they're going to use. And since it doesn't really have a bunch of games, then hey, I don't see it being used. But I would like to see this technology evolve. It could be like the Kinect. Many people hated the Kinect, the motion sensor, but it actually was very helpful in the medical field. It really helped people that were trying to rebuild their muscle structure, fine motor skills. The Kinect was used widely for medical purposes. Shockingly, it really was shocking. Whereas for gaming, No one really wanted it and did not compare it to the Wii motion controls. So I'm hoping, I am definitely hoping that Apple evolves in gaming, and I'm going to give the hottest take at the end of the video because I doubt everyone's going to watch to the end, and this is going to be one that would probably light a little fire in the internet. But if Apple is serious about gaming, they should be working with Nintendo. They should be getting the M-chip series into a new Nintendo console. I don't want them to buy Nintendo. I hope that this would be a one-off and done, but Nintendo needs a new system. The very serious gamers want something better. That's why emulation is so big right now. Major YouTubers are admitting that they are emulating the games. Yes, they buy them, but they're emulating. And that's a big segment of serious people that talk to a lot of the gaming community saying, hey, we emulate. So Nintendo does need a new system. And what better way for Apple to get into gaming is with probably the company with the most first-party games, the highest level of IP available, and honestly could probably pull off getting a bunch of games there quick. Nintendo could just come out with like a new Mario game, and boom, right there. Focus on the one big game. A decent Pokemon game. There you go. Like Tears of the Kingdom, people are not loving on the Switch. Do what you did with the Switch originally with the Breath of the Wild. Port it over. Port it over. As I slam into my hair, I'm sure that's going to be fun to listen to when I edit this. But yeah, Apple and Nintendo should get together. They should at least date for a period. See if it's nice. So tell me what you think about that. That is my hot take. Leave the comment below. If you like this video, hit the like button. Dislike, hit the dislike button. Hit that subscribe button and get me to 1,000 by the end of the year. We're halfway through, so let's do it. You're at the end. You're an amazing person. Thank you for watching all the way. We love you over here. Bye.